All right, so the next part that I want to show you, and I'm actually quite excited for this because this is something that I guess I would say my expertise. So the other thing is kind of like a toy stuff, right? So ERP, right? So let me show you what it's like. All right, so first, the part 3 of this would be a system called ERP, right? And the particular brand, I guess particular software that I use is called ERPNext, okay? So but first I need to talk to you about what is ERP. So the ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, which doesn't mean anything, right? But what I think it means is that it's a piece of software. Again, it can be run anywhere. You typically run on the server. Okay, it collects information from all the departments in the business. Okay, so think about one business. You're probably going to have accounting. You have purchase, sell, inventories, customer relationship, HR, human resource management. So all of this department generates data. And it's very common that each of the department, they need data to be shared, right? And usually, businesses out nowadays, they use Excel. And I have seen a very complicated looking Excel that transcends my belief that Excel is a toy software. It's pretty good, right? But at some point, you're going to run into the data updates and data integrity and all of that stuff together. So that's why ERP might be your solution to your whatever you're doing. So it's essentially it centralizes all this data sharing, and then once you can do that, then you start to have visibility and also efficiency and things like that. So you'll see. Okay. Essentially, I also think about ERP as essentially a really complicated software. Because once you're trying to take care of everything in the business, it turns out to be quite a complicated flow, and it cannot be helped. It's going to be very complicated, right? And up to the point where I spent almost 2 years studying ERPNext, and I don't think I cover everything. Right? There's still more to learn. It could take years to master it. Okay. All right, so what are things that we can take care of with ERP? As you can imagine, I kind of told you the list already, right? You can think about financial or accounting department. You can think about the buying and selling, so sell department. You can think about purchasing or buying department. If your company, you're probably going to have to do inventory at some point. You cannot avoid it, right? But if your company also produce stuff, you can do MRP, so manufacturing resource planning module, right? And also you can do, if you have service, then you can do like service, like quality service and things like that. Or if you have a sales team, you can do customer relationship management and a lot more. Asset management, you can also do loan management, right? HR stuff, it's pretty complicated, right? So another thing that I want to point out is that, if you are a small business owner, you might look into some of this standalone software. Sorry, it's in Thai because I already work with Thai SME a lot, small business enterprise a lot. So I've seen, these small business using this type of standalone software. For example, this one is the very common for accounting, Express, so very old school, but still widely used in Thailand, right? A newer one would be something like this, Peak Account, which is the online cloud service for accounting, right? And you can also do something like this, which is it's called point of sale software. So POS help you sell stuff with the monitor that you can touch on the sale counter. And also, if you have sales team, you can look into My CRM. That's also another service, a cloud service. And this one is the transport management software, help you manage your vehicle fleet. And also the project management, Monday.com. I think this one is pretty global, right? So tasks and things like that, right? So, I mean, all of this software actually help you manage your business, right? But what's different between all of this and when you consider something like ERP, okay? So that's the difference, right? So, so the ERP will be like the big guy, essentially. So if you use ERP, there is usually no need to use the standalone software. I guess that's the bottom line, right? If you're considering using standalone software, then maybe your need is not as complicated as what ERP is going to be offering, okay? So ERP is more like a unified platform. So if you use ERP, then you don't want to use the standalone software because it's going to create more problem, right? But the thing about the standalone software is that it's easier to get started, right? If you have a small business, all you need to do is the accounting software, basically, and then a little bit of inventory management. And some of the software that I showed you on the previous page works just fine, okay? And another thing is that when you have the software that is highly specialized in particular function, it's actually do that function pretty well, okay? So, for example, if you use the accounting software that I just showed you, it's highly optimized for Thailand. So all of the regulations and all the forms are already taken care of. But if you were to use ERP, usually come in a more broader, you need to customize more to make it work for your localization, basically. So there are some trade-offs to think about. So that's why people charge a lot of money to give advice, to basically advise the business what they should do, because there's always a trade-off, okay? Another thing that I think about ERP is that the ERP try to enforce the process flow. So this is something that I've been thinking about a lot, the process flow, right? So for example, if you use Excel, you can do anything with Excel. You can type anything on the box, right? There's nothing to prevent you from typing it wrong or to skip the process. But ERP will try to make it so that no one can make the wrong, can input the wrong number, or no one can skip the process. So it will try to enforce the process flow in some sense. And that's good for a big company, right? When you have lots of people working on the same thing, you don't want people to make the wrong process or input the wrong things into this particular cell or something like that. So the process flow enforcement is something that ERP tried to do. Okay, so that's why nowadays I mean, typically when I start this, I try to recommend ERP to all of the businesses. But nowadays, I think your business has to be somewhat to a certain size, so maybe medium size, in order for ERP to make sense. So it doesn't make sense for small business, basically. It's something that I start to develop the intuition for. Okay. Okay. So again, the benefit of ERP, so essentially if your data is in one database, which you will see today, okay, hopefully, then you can see the biggest thing that the business owner want or the owner of the company want is visibility. Like once you have more than 20 Excel files, then nothing is visible anymore. Like when you want to see something and you have to tell your employee to work through the data, it will take them, I don't know, maybe a day, to give you one summary. But if you use ERP and you set everything correctly and then everything's real time, right? You can look at the dashboard and see what's happening in your business in real time. And that's usually what the business owner really wants when their business grow into a certain size, right? Another thing is usually once you start to have visibility, then you can start to forecast. You can use like AI, machine learning to start to predict things and plan your policy accordingly. Okay. Another thing is that usually when you do ERP, the process that implementing the ERP into your business usually involve digital transformation. And digital transformation usually end up increasing productivity in the end. Okay, so and that's something that I've seen a lot, because sometimes when you adopting ERP, at the beginning you have to work harder because the old system you have to make it maintain the old system, which is maybe more manual. But then the new system come in, so you have to work, I guess, double the effort. But in the long run, once everything start to get digitalized, then it's usually productivity will be realized, although not immediately. Okay. And another thing that you can do is more like centralized data, security, and things like that. So think about Excel, like how secure it is, right? Data leak happen all the time with Excel, right? Sent through email. But once your data is centralized, then you can, if you have a competent IT department, your data is saved to a certain point, right? You can be hacked, but you need a good IT team for that. Okay. All right. So ERP, it's good. Although if you want to use it, then there are many things that you have to consider. For example, quite expensive. It can be a deal breaker in a small business. Okay. Very complicated, so high learning curve, even for the business owner, and more so for the employee, right? And complex system need dedicated IT resources. So if you don't have your own IT personnel, you have to hire somebody to take care of it for you, and that's actually cost money, okay? Because they have to run their own company to do that, right? And also ERP usually doesn't come highly specialized in any localization. So when you use ERP, then you have to adapt it. For example, like the very, first example is like accounting. If you want to do tax in Thailand, then you probably have to customize your ERP to follow some of the Thailand regulations. Okay. So the products that in the market nowadays these are a very small list. There are many, many more, okay? But some of the big guys are the one on top, okay? So these guys are the enterprise level ERP, right? As you can see that the cost also quite expensive. Or this is the cost that per user per month. But then if you want to install it for the first time, that's usually called the implementation cost that could goes up more than 1 million baht, easily more than 1 million baht or $30,000. So it's pretty expensive to get it set up and also to run it, okay? So what I want to show you today is more like the smaller guys in here. So as you can see that the price are very gentle, right? But don't be fooled by the price, because when I say the price gentle, doesn't mean that the functionality is gentle, right? Nowadays, all of these guys that are below, it's actually quite capable and kind of rival the functionality of the big guys. What's different is more like the support. Okay, so the big guys has a big company and they have support team, and they can help you through the way if you can pay. Usually the smaller guy, you have to do it yourself, and this is something that we're going to do it today. We're going to do it ourselves. Okay. Okay, so right now I'm considering I already choose ERPNext, but the top two contender for the smaller, I guess I would say the open source product would be Odoo and ERPNext. Okay, anybody heard of Odoo before? Yeah. Okay, that's good. So for me, I get bombarded by ads from Odoo all the time on my Facebook. But it could be because I search for ERP a lot, so then they know that I am interested. So I got Odoo ads all the time, but for you it might not, okay? But yeah, so Odoo, it's from Belgium company, I think, from Belgium or somewhere in Europe, yeah. But then it's really popular in India for obvious reason. Like Indian people is pretty good at coding, right? So. And it's been I guess popular for a while. So it has built a big company, so a big community. Even in Thailand, if you want to find developer for Odoo, it's much easier than the one that I'm choosing, ERPNext. Okay, so I mean, if I were to tell you that Odoo is more popular, then you might think that that would be a good reason to choose Odoo, right? But the reason that I don't choose is because Odoo is not completely free. It's free. It's divided into two tiers. The first tier is called Enterprise, although the Enterprise is not that expensive. This is really nothing for enterprises company, but it will charge you for this much, right? If you want to get the full functionality, right? But then if you don't want to pay, you're more like the guy who deploy everything on your own, like what we're doing here, then you only get the limit functionality. Okay, so that's the red flag for me, because I mean, nowadays, you can get by with the community version, right? But who knows, in the future, they might, limit more functionality for the free tier just to force you to pay. So to me, that's kind of like a deal breaker for me. So that's why I'm choosing another one called ERPNext, okay? So the ERPNext, what I really like is its full functionality. Like even for the free one, like it's the same, right? And even if you want to go for the cloud version that charge money, they're actually pretty generous. You can see that they charge you $50 per month. That's it, unlimited users. But if you choose Odoo, then you can pretty much exceed that $50 cap pretty easily. Like, are you going to have only 2 users in your company? No way. So even if the paid version of ERPNext is already much a better deal than Odoo, okay? Although, I mean, ERPNext is pretty new and the community is small. So if you have problem, you're gonna be pretty much on your own. So the big company probably not gonna jump into ERPNext anytime in the near couple of years, but I look at the trend and I'm seeing a lot of people migrating to ERPNext because of the fact that it's more, I guess, generous in terms of all of this, and also the functionality pretty much cover. So Odoo and ERPNext pretty much can do the same thing, and some would argue that ERPNext is even more progressive, although that's a huge debate, depending on who you talk to. But for me, I don't see any problem with it, so that's why I'm choosing it. I recommend this one for the business that I talk to. Okay, because of when you say something free, it's usually a pretty good motivation to use it, right? Okay. All right. So why ERPNext? Okay, 100% open source. Okay, and by the way, ERPNext is founded by the Indian company. Okay, and they make money by selling this service basically. And they're doing well, okay? Don't worry about them, they're doing well, okay? All right, so another thing that I like about ERPNext is that it's actually built on top of another framework called Frappe, okay? So here's the thing, right? So let's say you want to write an application, for example, like your bookstore application. Hopefully you're sending it to me by the end of today, okay? You write something, you write on the code, PHP code, right? And then it's become an application. So your code, so there's a code version, code, right? I can't type in here. Let me explain like this. Wait, not here. Okay, so normally you type in the code. Okay, so code, PHP, something like that, right? And then the code gives you application. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Like that's something that most people would do in terms of building application, like bookstore, for example. But ERP, for example, this ERPNext is different because they use code, right? Code is Python and JavaScript. Okay, so behind the scene, they're using Python and JavaScript to write their software, but then they don't write software right away. So ERPNext is up here, okay. But in the middle, there's another software. It's called framework. It's called Frappe. Okay. Okay. So what is Frappe? Frappe is the software that builds software. Okay. So essentially what they're doing is they actually write code to build Frappe. It's called Frappe framework, okay? Okay. Okay. And then the Frappe framework is used to build ERPNext application, okay? So, I mean, you might be wondering, like, why do we have to go through this indirect loop? Why don't we just, do this, right? Right? Can we just do that? Essentially, we can. But they're doing this for a couple of reasons, right? The first reason is that ERP is different from a normal software because it's highly dynamic. Like when you're using ERP, you're talking about the entire organization. So the requirement changes all the time. It could be every week you need to change something onto your application, right? So think about if you're a developer and you're writing application using PHP, and say every week there's always something that you need to change. You have to go to VS Code and change it, deploy, and things like that. And it gets quite tedious and it's slow. So what they do is that they write a software first, and most of the tasks that you need to change in your ERPNext can be done with something called low code. So from here to here, it's low code. What I mean by low code is that you can drag and drop things. So you can change the functionality of ERPNext, your ERP software, by mouse. And the person who do this doesn't have to be developers anymore. It can be anyone that actually just know a little bit more how to use this Frappe framework. Okay? So what happened is that maybe 80% of the things that needs to be done, to be changed, can be done by your employee. Can be done by your IT administrator. Doesn't have to be done by developer. Like that kind of offload a lot of the things that developer needs to do, right? But of course, if there are anything that's, low code cannot do everything. So there are parts where you need to do something like this, but that's only maybe, I would say, like 15% of the things that needs to be done is done by developers, the actual person who know how to code, right? So that's the philosophy. And actually this philosophy is adopted throughout a lot, not for the ERPNext, but also for other big guys. So for example, like if you use Microsoft Dynamics, there is actually another framework that actually built between the ASP.NET code between your ERP. So this kind of architecture is actually not uncommon among the highly complicated and highly dynamic software. It's used because super dynamic software, okay? And I really like it though. I really like it, okay? Okay, so that's the idea of Frappe framework, okay? All right, and here's the thing. What's interesting is that once you develop this Frappe framework, right? This one can produce this application, but actually it doesn't end here because this software is quite general. So it doesn't have to only create ERPNext. It can create other things like CRM, customer relationship management software. It can create its own drive. Like there's a Google Drive equivalent in Frappe framework. There's something called healthcare, so managing hospital. There's something that can help you manage what's it called, education, so learning management system, LMS. Okay. So essentially, you can use this framework to build all kind of application like this, okay? And once you know how this one works, you can customize ERPNext. You can customize all of this. It's the same general principle, right? And that is exactly what I showed this one because the community that builds on creating application using Frappe framework actually just gathered just a couple months ago, just last month I think. It's called the Frappe World Conference. If you're interested, you can look into it. It's in English. It's in India, right? And what they're advertising is that apart from this guy is ERPNext, right? But there are also other things that you can use. Icon doesn't make sense to you, but essentially all of these are productivity suites like Drive, email, I call Notion, Notion clone, and a lot more things, I don't remember, but a lot more things that you can use, and all of this is actually free. Like the same philosophy apply with ERPNext. So anything that you create with this has to be 100% free. So I think this movement that they are announcing last month is actually quite new, quite big in terms of adopting ERPNext. And once you do this, you get all access to all of this business app that you can use later on for free too. So not just the enterprise resource management, but productivity suites and developer tool and everything come for free. So I have quite I'm quite excited for this roadmap, and I remain to be seen, what kind of things that I can play with next year. Hopefully you're not here, okay? Next year will be new guys, okay? All right, so let's begin by installation, all right? So we're gonna install everything on our own, okay? Let's go. And as you can see that this is the most complicated installation steps because it's a big guy, so it has a lot of moving parts. But if you follow this, you should be fine, okay? So I'm gonna go through step by steps, okay? I think I need my server will be admin PM3 CT161. So please do not use my server, okay? Anybody who are logging in, do not use my server. Use your own server, okay? Make sure that you connect to the right server, please. Okay. เข้าถูกอันนะครับอย่าเข้าของผมนะครับอันเดี๋ยวมันชนกันแล้ว Okay, for those who already got in, just maybe we'll try the first block. Okay, let's copy everything. You can run. So this is actually one command though. The 3 lines are one command. So the whole thing, please. No, not line by line, because this character means that this is line extension. So this thing, one line. Okay. So you can see that there are many packages that needs to be installed. I get some error. Let's try again. No. Internet, maybe internet. Let me try to ping. Okay, it's working. Okay. Let's just continue. Okay. If it has problem, then I might need to come back here. All right, so let's continue. So this one is quite advanced because there are some packages that needs to be patched. So all you need to do is just copy this one. I looked it up already. So in order to display PDF correctly, you need to patch some of the packages. So that's why you need this. Just copy the whole thing in. Okay, and all the information I looked into the forum. Basically, I'm just searching through the problem people find in the forum. I didn't come up with this myself. Okay. All right. So right now I'm encountering this error, which is unexpected. Let me try the first one more time. Okay, so I have some problems. So okay, I think we can keep going because this one, if it's already in your computer, it might be okay. So let's try. Let's keep going. Okay, and I'll iron out some of the problems later on. Okay, so let's install Python. Okay, so ERPNext is built on Frappe framework, which built on Python. So you gotta create install Python. So the whole thing. I'm seeing lots of errors in here. Okay, I can do fix broken install. Maybe it works. Does it work? Okay, what I found is maybe if you run into problem, there is a command. Maybe just type this one for me. So this one is kind of almost like undo whatever the error is. So remember last time, just previously, I run some of the command and it gave me error. And so this particular command kind of undo whatever the error is going to be. So just to make sure that it's taken care of, I guess. Okay, and I'll run through this example again in my own time. See what happened. Okay, so next stop we are going to change the Python, I guess, and Python interpreter. So we just run this one again, this one. So now we are at the auto enable VENV right here. There you go. Okay, and once you've done this, I want you to check for me if you have this thing in here. So your prompt will be different. You will have this admin with the parentheses. So that means that you already activate the Python environments. For those who work with Python, you will know that you need to select environments. And this is how we know that we are in this particular environment. Okay? If you don't have this one, let me know.ครับผมว่าแม็กไว้ทีหลังเลยดีกว่ายากไว้ทีหลังเลยครับแต่ว่ามันขึ้นแบบแอดมินตรงนี้นะครับใช่แต่ว่ามันมีขึ้นแอดมินก็เลยไม่แน่ใจว่ามันบอกว่าให้เป็นตัว
แต่มันก็ขึ้นเป็นแอดมิน
โอเคไม่เป็นไรครับอันนี้น่าจะเรื่องอื่นครับโอเคOkay, so next up, we are going to configure the database. So we're going to go to this command. So this command will go to the configuration file for MariaDB. And we need to include a couple of things in here. So right now, you have configured this at some point, right before you, way before. But we're going to add something here. So first, this MySQLD. Let me check. Okay, so you don't need to copy this part. You only need this part because you already have the header. Like the header is already exists in your file, right? So all you need to do is copy these 3 lines in here, right? And then just paste it after, right? Right now I already have this particular header, so I don't need another header, right? So I just do that. So this one essentially just setting up the character sets in the DB. That's all. Okay. Okay, and there's another one in here under the header of MySQL. So if you don't have it, then you can include that header. So that header doesn't exist before. So I'm going to copy with the header. So just need to make sure that you don't repeat the header. That's all I'm asking. So right now I have this part and also the whole thing, which is new. Okay. If you look, you might look different. Like yours might be different, right?
It's just we have 2 MySQLD, like there is 2.
Oh, you have it? Okay. And wait, but the one on top is new, right? You just paste it in.
I just this.
Okay. So maybe you can undo. Undo is alternate. Alternate U. Okay. Oh, so you already have this. And then the one below, right?
Yeah.
I think the one below is going to override the one on top. So it might be better to just put it below, okay. at the bottom. Yeah. Yep. Okay. And just to make sure, you can just delete the one on top. Okay. Let's just. Okay. Just put it. Just you can delete this one.
This totally. Okay.
Okay. And then the other one at the bottom. Okay. Exactly. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to save, which is Control S, and then quit, which is Control X. Okay. And once we're done, we're going to restart the database. So restart, that's the command to restart. Apply new change. So hopefully, if you see error here, that means you have some typo in your configuration file. Like it will just yell at you right away. Okay. Next up is the installation of Frappe. So Frappe framework first, and then ERPNext later. Okay. So I'm gonna copy everything. I think you should be able to just copy the whole thing and let it run. Oh, that's the problem, right? Wait, did I do npm? I already have it. Okay. So it doesn't work with the. So maybe we'll try one by one. Okay. Usually it works one by one. Let me see. The first command worked. Okay. npm install cd. So that goes to the home directory. Okay. And then we're gonna do this one. This command. Oh, okay, so that's why. Okay, so there's no bench. I think I might forget something. Yep, I forget it. Sorry guys, I forget one thing, very important. Okay, so you gotta do uv pip install frappe bench. I forgot this one for, sorry, uv. Okay, so let me try mine first, okay, to see if it works. Okay, it works. All right, so the command is this one. I forgot this one. I'll add it in later. Okay. So in Python, you need the package in order to execute particular command. So we'll install this package into the Python environments.
Question. Like, why do we install some packages with pip and some with sudo?
Okay, so you used pip before, right? Have you used pip before? Both? You use both? Okay, so this command will be, for now, it will be same thing as you would do this. Same thing, okay? And this one's gonna install into your local directory. So if you do sudo, it's gonna install into your root directory, which is way up the directory tree. So in Python, they don't recommend you to install as root because it's gonna clash with your system Python installation. So it's much better to install without sudo and then it lives in your local things. But the downside is that you need to activate it like this. That's why I have the activation. Or else you're gonna be using the root installation, which doesn't have this package. So that's why. So it's a little bit complicated. Yeah, I know. All right. So once you have this, it should work because what I'm missing is I'm actually missing this particular package in Python installation. So right now everything should just work. I mean, just copy everything. There you go. What? Doesn't work anymore? No. Okay. Let me check. What else did I miss? All right. So I'm gonna check out this thing. Okay, it's failing. Okay, what is this? Okay. So I guess the problem with the whatever happening up here, it's actually causing the problem down below. So I need to make sure that this one is working. Okay, so I guess my problem is that for some reason this particular Debian, it's called repository, cannot be accessed. So I think what I should do is to let you guys take some breaks and I will fix it before you come back. Okay, so maybe 10 minutes to 15 minutes, depending how fast I can fix the problem. Okay, I'll see you. Okay, so what I found, which I solved the problem. So what you can do is actually you can refresh this page, and right now you're gonna see the new command popping up. So you can refresh that page, and so what you need to do is you need to apply this one. So basically just copy and then just paste it onto your terminal. What this command is doing is actually refresh the package location. So the problem that I ran into just moments ago is that it cannot find the package because the link had changed. So this particular command is updating the location of the package. So that's why, and then once you do this, you need to rerun this whatever down here again.
Which password is it?
This one is going to be your admin 1234. Okay. But it's the same thing as when you log in, right?
I think I know what it's.
Okay, perfect. All right, and then once you get this, you need to rerun the command that install packages, which are these two guys right here. So you need to rerun this too. Okay, so it should work now. As I was testing it just a moment ago, works perfectly. And then this one too. There you go. Done. Okay, so thanks God. Okay. So just to kind of, so this never happened to me before, like the package that keep changing the location. But obviously it happened now. Okay, so everything works from now. Okay, which is good. Uh,
หรือว่า
ก็ลองทำตามมันเนาะ
ไหนอ๋อ
ต้อง sudo ด้วยครับอันนี้คือมัน remove สิ่งที่ทำไปเนาะเพราะนั้นลองใหม่ลองตั้งแต่สเต็ปแรกใหม่ตั้งแต่refresh ด้วย refresh ก่อนคุณยังไม่ refresh เลย refresh page
อ๋อ
เนี่ยเอาบรรทัดนี้ก่อนบรรทัดนี้สำคัญมากเราไปรันโอเคเราก็รันอีก2อันน่าจะได้เนอะโอเค so once you're done then you should be able to come back here and it should work now so essentially come back to this part install Frappe okay and let's do it I should be able to copy the whole thing and just do it okay so this error the error is saying that because I run that command okay does not work why okay okay let me do it one more time because sometimes if you already have that particular folder called ERP then it might just error out so let me just try it one more time okay seems okay okay it works okay so the problem that I have is that when I run the first time it creates that folder and then once I run it one more time it's actually clash with whatever's before so if you have that problem you need to delete that folder and the command it's this one so okay so first you cd into your home right and then you remove -fr ERP so essentially this code that I give you it creates the ERP folder and when you run that particular command you don't want that folder to exist before so that's why it doesn't work okay okay so I'll try one more time for you okay I'll show you everything from the beginning
After this, should we only run this or also this?
this one and this one in both okay okay I'll do it again for you guys okay I'll cancel this okay one more time okay I just cancel this one okay all right so first I have to make sure that I don't have a folder called ERP on my right now see I have this one right here so this one will make it will cause error so I need to delete this one first so maybe check with me if you already have this one or not okay so if you have this one then the command is this okay so cd tilde means that you go to the home folder so I'm cd tilde right and then remove fr that's remove the whole directory and then ERP and that's simply just delete the ERP folder okay and that's it so make sure that your home folder is clean okay all right and then next up like I was telling you before you need the first command in order to make the package installation works without it it doesn't work so I'm this one. And then you need the other two. So packages that you need to do with sudo app install, you need to do it again. Okay. And then the second one, which will run. No problem. Okay, done. All right, so the first two, and then Python, it's okay because there's no problem with Python. Okay, I think, right? Okay. And then, so you go to installing Frappe and ERPNext. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy the whole thing, and then I'm gonna just paste it here. Oh. Mm-hmm.
If you just overwrite it, would it work? It says it already exists, but it asks me if I want to.
I think it will
overwrite
work.
so
Yeah, it will work. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. ผมขอไปปิดวิดีโอก่อน All right, so everyone should get into something like this. So don't worry about the error message, because this one is just temporary. We're not gonna run the software like this again, because if we close the terminal, we don't want the software to close. So we need a better way, which is a background service. Okay, but right now, what I want you to do is we are going to. So let me explain. Okay, so what you just did is install Frappe. Okay, and inside Frappe, it's a framework. You already install ERPNext. Okay, you got ERPNext, but right now it's just a code, right? What you need is what's something called a site. Okay, so a site is basically the actual application. Okay, so you need to create a site in the Frappe framework, and then you're going to install this in here. So it's kind of complicated because it's actually support multi-site installation, meaning that with just one installation like this, you can have site 1, site 2, site 3 that has a unique URL and belong to a different company. So it's a very economical structure because I can, for example, I can install just one instance like this and then create like 20 sites for 20 companies. I can just share, everyone share just the same installation instance. So that's why it's complicated, okay? So what you are doing next is creating the site called local. So I just name it local, okay? Name local. And then I'm gonna install this software into my site so that my site has ERPNext in it, okay? To do that, I need a new terminal. This one has to be on, okay? Because it needs some service to be on. So if you use Windows Terminal, you can create a new tab like this. Okay? I don't know if you can do it. Or if you open a new window, that's totally fine with me. But the bottom line is you gotta have this one on. That's the bottom line. So create a new tab or a new terminal, okay? And then log into your server again. So this one, it's gonna be like this. Okay. Like that, okay? So I'm logging in as another, I guess another sessions, what that we call. And from here, I can continue my installation, which is something like this. So again, create new site, right? Name local, which I was telling you, right? So I'm gonna copy this, create sites, right? And then just doing that. And then it's gonna ask you for MySQL. So that's something that you have to input. For me, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you go. So this process creates the site for your particular organization and then install ERPNext onto it. And behind the scene, it's going to create a new database. And you can kind of see. And then when you use it, I'll point you out into what is actually right into the database. Okay? Okay, and once you're here, you have to set up another password, which it's not the end of the world. You forget it, but please don't forget it. So something similar to your database password would be, I guess, appropriate. So for me, my database password is 1234. I'm going to do 1234. Right. So do not make it different. Just same thing with your database password would be the natural choice, right? And again, you won't see anything come up. You just have to believe in it, right? And then retype, okay? Okay, so just type, enter, and then re-enter, and then enter, okay? And this process is kind of creating the database table for ERPNext. And you'll see it's quite a lot because the software that manages the entire organization, it's a pretty complicated software. Okay. That's a pretty complicated software. Let's see how well. That's a pretty complicated software. รหัสผมว่าเพื่อความง่ายนะเป็นอันเดียวกับรหัสพาสของ Database ไปดีกว่าครับคือผมกลัวคุณลืมจริงๆเป็นอะไรก็ได้แหละครับแต่เพื่อความไม่ลืมคุณเอาพาสเวิร์ดเดียวกับ Database ดีกว่าคือมันไม่ขึ้นโหลดมันจะไม่ขึ้นให้คุณดูอยู่แล้วครับคุณต้องไทป์ด้วยความเชื่อมั่นอ้าว
ใช้รหัสอันเดียวกัน
อ๋อเจ๊งตั้งแต่ Password Database นะครับแสดงว่าคุณใส่ Password Database ผิดครับนี่ไง Password Access Denied แปลว่าไม่รู้เรื่องงั้นก็ต้องเคลียร์ไซต์ก่อน
หนูจำได้ว่าแบบ
ทีนี้คุณต้องใช้ dbeaver แล้วคอนเฟิร์มผมก่อนว่าคุณสามารถเข้า dbeaver ได้จริงเนาะอันนี้ถ้าไม่มีมันจะทำอะไรต่อไม่ได้เลยครับคุณต้องจำพาสเวิร์ดตัวเองให้ได้กัน
คือเหมือนหนูใช้1 2 3 4แบบอาจารย์แล้วแบบว่าพอกดแล้วมันไม่ได้ก็เลยลองเป็นอะไรนะแอดมิน1 2 3 4
ครับต้องเทส database ก่อนว่าพาสเวิร์ดคุณ database อะไรพาสเวิร์ดอะไรเนาะมี dbeaver ป่ะลองเทสดูก็ได้เจ๊งเหมือนกันโอเคครับเดี๋ยวผมทำให้ขอนั่งหน่อยพี่จำพาสเวิร์ดได้ไหมของ
ปกติใช้แอดมิน1 2 3 4นะครับ
database นะครับ งี้ dbeaver พี่มีป่ะต้องดู dbeaver พี่ว่ามันเป็นยังไง
ครับใช้อะไรนะเคยเปลี่ยน
หรอครับหมายถึงว่ามันมี password database กับ password server เนาะมันคนละอันกันนะครับใช่ไหมลองอีกทีก็ได้ครับแต่ว่าผมว่าเพื่อความไม่เน่าพี่ลองเช็ค dbeaver ก่อนได้ไหมครับว่ามันคุณเข้าได้ไหมล่ะลองเทสกับ dbeaver ก่อนเนาะได้เนาะโอเคงั้นเอาอันนี้เนาะจำอันนี้เนาะโอเคอันนี้ครับ
ไม่ได้เปลี่ยนเลยใช้รูปอันเดียว ลอง1 2 3 4แต่ว่าไม่ได้ใช้อันนั้นเลย
เขาเปิดเดียวกับที่พี่นกใส่นี่
ไม่แน่ใจครับไม่แน่ใจขอเช็คก่อนเขาไปปิดมันก่อนครับแต่แป๊บหนึ่งอันนี้ขอเช็คคนนู้นก่อน Okay, so once you're done, you already have the sites ready. So if you want to check whether you have your sites or not, then actually it's in this directory right here called sites. Okay, so I'm just gonna check real quick. So I'm gonna go to site and I'm gonna ls. So this is my site. Okay, that's the only thing. Like if it's not here, then you should see some other error, but it should be here. Okay, it's called local. I name it local myself. Okay. Okay, so if you want to check, it's in your, so this is the path. So ERP, sites, and then you should see local in it. That's all. All right, so we're almost done. So actually the site is ready, but the only problem is that if you were to close this, then your software doesn't work anymore. So we don't want that. We want it to be on all the time. So that's why we need to configure your background service to run. Okay. I think now you can turn it off. Okay, so you can do Control C to close this. So turn it off, right? So if it's on, just turn it off, okay? And the next thing we're gonna do this one, okay? So configure the service. So again, we're gonna use ERPNext in order to, because right now ERPNext is actually routing the traffic to different places now, right? If you go to your web application, it's routing to port 80. So I'm going to say that if you were to come here, you're going to type 85. Okay, so that's the differentiation where you want to go. Okay, so essentially just copy this one and just paste it in. That's all. Okay, and if it's asking if it's need to overwrite, then please overwrite it. Okay. Okay, and now you can see that I already assigned my software to be port 85. So that's how I'm going to set it up. Okay, and if you want to, and if you're curious, actually the configuration for ERPNext is in this guy. It's in the config folder. Okay, if I go to config, okay, so you have to be in the right place, and I can do nano, and the file is actually this one, ERPNext.conf. So I'm going to do nano ERPNext.conf. Okay, and this is where this is similar to what you did way back with the PHP web application. It's actually listen to port 85. Okay, and it's gonna go to here. So remember, in your PHP application, it goes to var www/myapp. So because that's where your PHP code is. But this is where the, your ERP code is. It's in your home admin ERP sites / whatever local that is. Okay, and then the rest is pretty much very similar. But again, because this one is using Python, so it has some special directives on it. But that's what it is. Okay. All right. So the other thing is that we need to tell ERPNext to that you already have the new site. It's called server block. So this path, this command is going to link whatever the ERPNext has to this particular file, ERPNext.com. So all you need to do is just to type this in like that. And then you have to do password one more time, which is your server password. You're done. Okay? And then I'm going to restart my ERPNext. Okay. So basically, all you need to do is copy paste starting from configuring service, right? And then you're going to add this particular configuration file to your ERPNext main configurations. And then we're going to restart ERPNext, and you're done with ERPNext, okay? And next, we're going to use supervisor. So this one, another line, which is saying that please start my service whenever the computer starts, the server starts. So that part. Okay, and then we're gonna start supervisor, and this is part. Okay. Wait, failed? Why is it failed? Because we already exist. So okay, I'm gonna do that. Okay. Okay, and if you want to check if everything's done correctly, then I guess you can do sudo supervisor ctl status. Wait, I only have one thing running, so this is wrong. Why? It already exists, which is good, which is, wait, did I make mistakes in here? No, okay, that should be right. Okay, let me try one more time. It has some error with reading this thing. This is weird. Okay, so what I see is that I have something with my NHN supervisor configurations. Why? Okay, I didn't expect this, so let me check real quick. Okay. Oh, for some particular weird reason, I have this H in here. Why? I didn't expect it to happen. Okay. Maybe you do have, maybe it's one of my commands, maybe it causes to happen. Wait, sudo nano. Okay, I did have this thing in here, which is not right. Okay, so let me try again. Yep, I'm done. Okay. I don't know what happened to me because some special characters on my supervisor configuration, but you should see something like this. Like, are you seeing something like this? Yes? Wow, that's good. Okay. If you do, then you're done. Okay, so we're going to visit the site that I prepared for you. So everyone should have your site in the same format like this, pmxct_erp-erp-i.com. Okay, so for me it would be pm3 ct161-erp.iecmu.com. And if everything go according to plan, I should see my ERPNext. Yep, I have it. Okay, and that คุณเคยไหมครับปื้ม And then your first login would be administrator, and then your whatever password that you put in. Remember, like it was asking you to do administrator password, and then I was telling you to use the same one as your database password. So for me, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I would say administrator, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and log in. I mean, from now on, it's just the software. So I guess we'll explore it from next time. But you can also get it set up in the meantime if you have time. Okay, so for example, welcome. This is the setup phase, which is going to be for the first time that you log in. So you can say next, and I mean, if you want to do other currency from your country, please do so. I'm going to use Thai Baht, THB, which is Thailand. Okay, and then this one is going to be your, I would say, manager account. So administrator account is the one that has the highest privilege. But then this one is going to be your system manager. So think about your maybe your admin, your web admin. Okay, so administrator is more like IT administrative accounts, but this one more like your regular admin in this system. So you just do anything. So I usually do admin user, and then email can be anything. Normally this system will actually email the actual email. But I'm just going to use my fake email, which I always use, ERP admin. So just type anything. This system has not configured to send email yet, so it's not going to send anything. Just pick any email you want. It can be CMU email or anything. And then another password, which I mean, if you want to be the same as your administrator password, that might be useful. Okay, so I just pick 1, 2, 3, 4 all the time for now. Okay, Okay, and next stop, company name can be anything. I'm going to use IE CMU. Okay. And then chart of account, this is for accounting, so standard would be appropriate, okay? The only thing that I asked you is to not click here, because if you click here, then it's gonna input the initial data, which I think might be best to learn from the blank site. So this one, it has some demo data, so you're not gonna see blank site. So just keep it unchecked would be the best. And we're gonna complete your checkup, the setting up. Okay, so this one, yeah, this is ERPNext, okay? And I guess that's it for today. Next time we'll continue, okay? Thanks.
Thank you.